Still on your flagship program this morning on ITV. We say good morning to you once again, and you are welcome to the first discussion segment on nationalism and you. Today being Thursday, the 26th of May, 2022, and we are broadcasting live from Pape Hill here in Abuja. I remain your host, Ebenezer Oyetaki, and you know ITV is certainly the best. Taking a look at the political process this morning, we will be particularly examining the issue of the fourth embark of the Electoral Bill 2022. And with me in the house to take a look at this issue this morning is a legal practitioner and a socio-political analyst, Barrister Ogenevo Otemu.
Yes.
Barrister Otemu, nationalism and you.
It is my duty and responsibility to build this nation.
You're welcome. This electoral bill has been going forth and back. Couldn't we have ended everything about the electoral bill 2022 far before now?
Yes, all this would have been done long ago. But of course, because the players, as those who have the responsibility of amending the electoral bill, electoral act as it is, also want to protect their own interests, and at some point they discover that they shot themselves on the foot. That is why they made a very quick turnaround to re-amend the electoral act that was just amended and assented to that by the president, you know, very close to the election, which for me, it's not a very nice thing to do. We would have done this long ago so that the electoral umpire will have the law. The law is the instrument with which they can actually conduct elections. Now, each day we get close to the election, you amend the law. And once you amend the law, it affects INEC. It affects their electoral guidelines. It affects their modus operandi. And so it's just creating unnecessary stress for INEC. But I believe, since the president did not assent to it, I believe that is the best way. Let us go into the election with what we already have, so that we will not create unnecessary troubles. Primaries have started, and if assuming the president has sent to that bill today, it changed the color of the whole thing. What about those whose primary elections have been conducted? What becomes of their case? Will you bring them back? So I feel it was unnecessary panic amendment that the National Assembly was doing, particularly on this particular bill that is before the president for assent.
One of the amendment to the bill has to do with the statutory delegates. The statutory delegates. And one of the reasons that the president adduced for not signing it, according to the information filtering out, is that the electoral process and the primaries are so monetized. And currently, if they, as it is, they will be having about 2,400 delegates. But if they sign that electoral bill as amended, it will add up to between 10,000 delegates to 12,000 delegates. More so, as you alluded, the PDP have commenced their own and the rest of it. Apart from amounting to shifting the goalpost in the midst of the game, the concerns for monetization, how do you make that placement?
Well, our election today has been seriously monetized. And even the president cannot complain about the monetization, because even the president's party has increased the monetary level of election today, where APC is selling tickets, presidential tickets for 100 million naira and all other.
They thought they were trying to use it to screen out on serious
but at the end of the day, they got more aspirants than expected. So even if it was 5,000 naira, 5 million naira, or even 10 million naira, even if for 500,000 naira. These people who came, it would not have been more than what the aspirant that we already have seen. So it's not, some people, they gathered money to buy for them. So it didn't help anything. It only helped to further establish that our elections are for the highest bidders. And now we've been seeing what is going on on the fields from the primaries that have been conducted, the few ones that have been done. You see how monetized the system is. So to that extent alone, I may agree to an extent, because it will not be a very serious, high burden on aspirants who would have just settled, like assuming a House of Assembly aspirant who would have just settled about 15, 20 delegates and is home and dry just to buy the vote, because we now buy the votes. People, in fact, I saw a post this morning where a friend was saying the major problem to Nigerian politics today are delegates, because the delegates are the people who are now filtering or sifting the aspirants to become candidates. It is who they give us as candidates, that's who wins primary, that become candidates that will be available for us to vote for, because there's nothing like independent candidature. Now, to become a candidate, you buy your way. It's for the highest bidder. You saw Peter Obi, who just withdrew. For me, I believe he has seen the game that he may not be able to buy his way through. It is now for the highest bidders. You know, so when delegates collect 2 million for House of Assembly, that is the least in this hierarchy of elections we are going into in this period. The least. A delegate is collecting 2 million, minimum 1.5. And they burn their face. You don't give them, they don't care. The other person is coming and even adding. If you even give 2 million and the other person is coming to give 2.5 or 3 million, they are getting as much as that just for House of Assembly. After House of Assembly, they go to House of Reps. So to become delegates in elections, it's now a very big, a very lucrative business that all of us may even tend to start venturing into, because from this series of elections, delegates are going to make minimum of 10 million naira each, minimum. That is a delegate that did not even sell.
We will return to that monetization aspect of it. INEC released their timetable for 2023 election at about 2020-2021 thereabouts. That was a very long period, and some of us were saying that why the haste, why did INEC release it? But now we're beginning to see that even after the INEC had released and done their own the timetable, it was a real wisdom for them to have done it that way. Yet the political class, particularly the political parties that ought to be leading the front of the aspirations of Nigerians regarding those things, they are found to be shortcomings in meeting up the deadline. And if possible, they will even want to see how they can shift the primaries entirely forward and things of that nature, the way we are seeing it. What is your take on this?
Yes.
Why such degrees of seriousness?
It's a very funny situation. I was listening to IPAC chairman yesterday in one of your sister stations, where he was actually canvassing for a postponement of the elections. In fact, for INEC to re-amend their timetable and extend time for them. This is INEC that has been on their neck for over a year, coming up with timetable. IPAC is saying, oh, all the political parties have agreed. Why will INEC insist on going on with the timetable as it is right now? And you know, the timetable came out again. INEC immediately brought another timetable, a revised timetable, immediately a day after President signed the 2020, the Electoral Act into law, the 2022 Electoral Act into law. A day after, just one day, which means INEC was actually proactive. Yes. INEC had tried to make sure things go properly. But you know how our politicians are. They will never allow things to go properly. They don't even follow their own party constitutions. No political party, none of the political party is following their party constitution strictly. None. If we look into the party constitution, they have breached their own constitutions. And because of the Electoral Act, too, some of their constitutions are even conflicting with the Electoral Act. And they ought to have amended all those constitutions. I think APC did theirs during the convention. So they know what they are doing. Now, another reason why you see they are campaigning for elongation of the period, they want each political party wants the other one to do their convention first, so that it will guide their own decision.
Ambush.
In order to ambush. And immediately after your primary, some people may decamp and also pull to join the later political party. So these are the games they are playing. They are expecting, maybe PDP will do theirs first and the fallout will benefit APC, or APC will do first and the fallout will benefit PDP or any other party. We are always seeing people already pulling out to join, Kwakwanso's political party. Those are people who are aggrieved in either in APC or in PDP. So, and there are speculations that even Peter Obi, even though it has not been confirmed, is hobnobbing with Kwakwanso already to become probably their presidential candidate. So these are the games. This period is just period of horse trade and different games, and because of that, they are not ready until the very last day that is provided for in the guideline. I can assure you that most of the political parties will not conclude their conventions.
This is a part. I monitored the IPAC chairman's commentary yesterday and things of that nature. But many Nigerians were saying that even the IPAC that is pushing for this, that they do not think that IPAC membership preponderantly, that's the moderate political parties, let me not say they are
not small, the big ones.
Yes, that many Nigerians are of the opinion that it is the big parties like PDP and APC that are actually inducing the IPAC to make the... What's your take on this?
Yes, it's a possibility. But from what the chairman said, all the chairmen of all the political parties,
that is the way they will put it.
Agreed. So you blame, even though we know what is actually going on, certainly the big players, APC, PDP, are using him to push that narrative. But I believe INEC should stand their ground, insist that the timetable should be followed. If you fall short of the timetable, you face the consequence. Enough time has been given to us to do our conventions, to do our primaries. We kept postponing it for reasons best known to politicians.
You are a legal practitioner. Now, obeying the law seems to be, that is, following the set rules, regulations, and whatever standard we set for ourselves seems to be much more easier than when we begin to try to manipulate system to suit pecuniary political interest and things of that nature. Many Nigerians are saying the manipulative aspect of the political process is why we are witnessing postponement and postponement and postponement. For example, the APC is supposed to have commenced screening of their candidates.
Presidential candidates.
And till now, they kept on postponing and the rest of it. Some people are saying that it is because they want to go consensus and things of that nature. What are the implications of this and how do you see it from the eyes of the law?
Now, if the laws are followed, nobody will have any problem. Even the losers will accept the process. But because the parties, the leaders in the political parties, they want their own interests to be protected, not the interests of the nation, not the interest of even the members of their political party. No, it's not the interest of the political party they are working for. Their own personal interest, they want their person to be there, they want to plant who is there because of their own interests. They keep moving a direction and manipulating the system to suit their purpose. Now, for APC, like you said, screen candidates, they've been fixing screening dates and it's been postponing. I don't know if they are going to do it today. All this is to see how the party can bring only one person out as a consensus candidate. It is good to have a consensus candidate because it actually reduces the level of rancor, crisis, in-house fighting it reduces it. But we must not, it's not all time that you must get consensus. Leave the parties, the contestant, the aspirant, let them go to the field and let the most popular person win. And that is also subjective because the most popular person most times, like I said, in this current political process, the most popular persons are not winning. Those who are winning are the highest bidders. That is just the truth. So it is he who is able to pay, cough out more money to pay for delegates' votes that will win it. So for me, whether they come with consensus, whether they even go with the votes, they go to the primaries and vote and let everybody, it's almost the same thing, because whether consensus or vote, the highest person, the person with the highest, with the deepest pocket will win the day.
Did you witness the emergence of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2014 through primaries, through presidential primaries that was held in Lagos?
Yes.
Did you observe it?
Yes, I watched it.
How did you see it? That is talking about democratic templates.
Well, that one was, you know, then the APC as a political party needed a Buhari because of his popularity.
Okay.
So it was more, he was the most popular.
The star candidate.
That he was the star candidate, most popular candidate. And so, whether you like it or not, and then people like Tinubu and the rest, Ameshis, the rest, they queued behind him. And of course, whoever was coming to contest with him would have suffered. But that is not what we are seeing right now.
But you know, it was beautiful because during those period of the campaign, and that Atiku is not a pushover.
Yes.
Kwakwaso himself
was not a pushover. Yes.
I personally witnessed when Kwakwaso and Atiku were Kwakwaso particularly, yes, because people felt that Atiku would defeat Kwakwaso. It was given.
Yes.
And Atiku was like saying that period that Buhari can only defeat him in the APC control state, but he will harvest the PDP control state and overwhelm the Buhari APC control state, and he will emerge as the presidential candidate. Beautiful political conversation, right? Then, so eventually, Rocha Sokorocha, Nda Isaiah, Atiku Abubakar, Kwakwaso, all of them went for the primaries. They worked till midnight, prevailing on Kwakwaso to step down for Buhari, and he said no. And they went for the primary. Unfortunately, Buhari won, or fortunately, Buhari won. And thereafter, Kwakwaso defeated Atiku in that primaries. Atiku came third. And Rochas came fourth, yes, and that kind of a thing. But that was the beauty of democracy.
Yes.
And all of them united behind Buhari because they saw that the election was transparent and that kind of a thing. If you forced, what do you call it? If you forced consensus and unilaterally through coercive power of state,
which is what we are going to experience,
that nature, what are the implications of such? Is our democracy degenerating or appreciating?
It's degenerating, but there will be no implication within the party. No implication because everybody is interested in protecting what their shop. So they will not. They will accept. Look at what happened during the convention, the party chairmanship, national chairmanship convention. The people were coerced to step down. Some were not happy. I spoke with one or two of them. They were not happy. They wanted to go to the field and at least test their popularity. But overnight, it was said that this is the candidate and that's how it must be. And it was consensus. Good enough, there is peace in the party because actually if they had gone in for the vote, some crisis would have broken out of that process. And probably that is the template the president wants to adopt in these presidential primaries.
Are we afraid of election now?
Not afraid of election. They are afraid of what will come out of the election. The crisis, the Nigerian system, in other clients, when you lose, you accept the candidate and work with the candidate. But in Nigeria, once you lose, you are looking for another. Some people buy forms in 2-3 political parties. They have already gotten membership of 2-3 political parties. So once they lose here, they have reason, because it was a contested this thing, they have reason to pull out. So, but with this one, I think they want to pacify them, negotiate with them to see how they can come together and allow one. It will help the party to a large extent. As a party man, it will help the party. It will bring calmness to the party. But if they allow all of them to go to the field, I can assure you that some persons will feel aggrieved and
many people will also think conversely that if they refused to step down conscientiously and in agreement, or if the system is so manipulative crudely, it would be more better than for them to go for election to test their popularity. And if they tested their popularity, whether monetized or not monetized, whomsoever emerge, people will queue behind them. Your take on this?
Well, that would have been a fair assessment, a fair position. But I can assure you that by the time the election is done, no matter how cohesive it will look, don't forget, these people who are contesting are people who have tested public offices before. So many of them, their dossier, their files are somewhere kept. So it's not like it's free for them to really make decisions for themselves. There are some decisions that the system will make for you, depending on the file that
is available.
That's available. You can see what happened to Rochas the day before yesterday. So that similar template can be available for all of them that are contesting. So it's either you accept or you face the wrath of the.
That is the power of the state.
Yes, you face the wrath, because certainly something is there that can bring you down. So why don't you just play your politics and get out?
Now let us go critically at an issue of the monetizations of our democracy, outrageous monetization of our democracy, so it appeared. And this electoral bill or act 2022 seems to be so silent on the issues of this monetization. Are there nothing that our lawmakers and the system can do to regulate the monetization that is outrageously fueling wrong perception of our democracy?
Yes, I think going into the next, not within this political dispensation, going into the next election, I really believe that we need our National Assembly, the next assembly, should really work towards that and deal with the monetization of our political system. How can an aspirant just came out, Namadi Sambo's son,
going to come there,
came out to openly to say he wants refund. Yeah, he spent 76 million. Yes, 76 million.
And he got only 2 votes.
And he's not going to be he's not contested to be president or governor. I think the House of Reps.
Yes, House of Reps.
So just to become House of Reps, that is not the main election. Just to be candidate of a political party of House of Reps, he has doled out 76 million for delegates.
For only 36 delegates.
Only delegates. So we have not talked of party leadership, party chairman, party structure, and other things that he would have done. So he would have spent over 150 or 200 million only on primaries. And when you do that, when the man comes to the office, what now happens? He is there because the first thing he must do is to recoup. So going into the next political dispensation, in fact, we will campaign for a serious law that should criminalize monetization of our political system, whether at the primary level. In fact, a tag should be placed on the ticket, that's on the fee for purchasing expression form or vying for political position. Not this one that is left for political parties to fix figures that tend to cut off so many Nigerians who are even more qualified to contest the position. But now the position is political positions are now left for money mongers, for those who have stolen and embezzled heavily from our own public funds.
Now let us take a crucial look at. I love this your, what do you call it? I love this your optimism. I love this, your optimism very much. But let us look at where we are coming from. If there was a candidate in 2014, a presidential candidate that has no money to bribe anybody, it will be Buhari.
Yes.
He rode upon his natural leadership phenomenon, the love of Nigerians, and did believe that this is the epitome of the change we have been waiting for. If under him, the monetization continued to grow to the extent that even him is now expressing a concern that one of the reasons I do not assent this Electoral Bill 2022 is because the electoral system has been so massively monetized, and if we increased the numbers of delegates, it will mean more monetization and the rest of it.
More financial burden for the aspirants.
Now, it is not even for the aspirant that bothers him. He said it will fuel corruption, and that is a germane thing. Now, if Buhari regime, Buhari's system that Nigerians so much put such hope, cannot correct these abnormalities as a legacy for Nigerians, we don't know who is going to take over from him. Whether it's an essentially transactional leader, because Dangote said Buhari is the only leader that he had come across around the world that is not transactional. You cannot ask him what is in it for him. It is that kind of a leader that can do this thing that you are talking about, Barrister Otemu. Now, the leadership we are in, if we unluckily fall into the hand of transactional leadership, what will you expect?
Well, you may be surprised that if we fall into the hands of a transactional leader who already know the implication, who has suffered the transactional system, it will do better. Okay. You know, this question I didn't want to, it's a very because of my political leaning, I didn't want to, but I think to be fair to Nigeria, I have to answer it, and to be fair to my conscience. If you, the way Buhari handled the system, he's not talking, not acting when he's supposed to act, further destroyed the system. So rather than fight corruption, you know, he came with a mantra of a corruption fighter. In fact, from 2007, I have been campaigning for Buhari and supporting him from 2007 with the belief that he is the only man, just like you said, Dangote said, just with the belief that he is the only man in Nigeria that can fight corruption and eradicate corruption. But I'm afraid to tell you that his 8 years showed something that is actually opposite. Instead of eradicate or fight corruption, corruption actually quadrupled or tripled under his regime. So if you say he is the one who would have been able to correct the monetization of our political system,
as expected by Nigeria,
but what is staring me and you on the eye is the opposite. So why don't we also just give, for me, my position now, the decision I have taken in supporting political candidate after supporting Buhari for a very long time and seeing what eventually happened, is, I don't know if you know Anini, or the notorious arm robber.
Yes.
If Anini come tomorrow, if an Anini is alive, known to be a notorious arm robber like that, I would rather support him than for somebody to come and preach to me that he's a pastor, he's an anti-corruption person, because that is my position right now. So it would have been better, because I've also seen some persons who we felt would have done worse, who before getting to position looked like they were not going to do well, ending up doing better.
But you know, we are in a democracy.
Yes.
We are in a democracy, and democracy is a very complex system. It's a very complex system. You know, for example, the Africans saw in him the African Union saw in him as an inspiration against corruption, and they so nominated him to front the fight of corruption in Africa. Even just yesterday, the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Fraud Examiners, They also conferred an award in recognition of his fight against corruption. He has been taking down some big people that are in the office, and the rest of it, the accountant general has just fell to the hammer of the fight against corruption and things of that nature. Even his own, what do you call it, anti-corruption Caesar, Magu, also fell to the allegation of corruption and things of that nature. When you take all of this into consideration, and the fact that under him, the system seems to be paying salaries, unlike the system he inherited, where 29 states could not pay salary at a time of economic boom. At a time of, what do you call it, COVID-19 challenge that is crumbling the world economy, he is paying salary. He's also embarking on a massive social investment program that is doling out free money and things of that nature. If you take all of this into consideration cumulatively, would you say he has not actually fought corruption? Because if he had not fought corruption, a nation that couldn't pay salary during the eras of boom is paying salary during the period of challenges and the rest of it. We have to take it all together.
Then you also put into consideration that naira is today 650 naira.
Okay.
A dollar today is 650 naira. Something that the government that you feel was bad.
You do not think that we ate our tomorrow yesterday?
No. That was not the problem. Let me tell you the truth. Let us be very frank with ourselves.
Okay.
I don't think anybody has supported Buhari more than I did. Now, let me tell you the truth. The truth is,
why was this why, in your opinion, why was the naira stronger that period? And why is the naira
naira was stronger that period was because we had people who were thinking well for Nigeria, who were working for Nigeria, who were dealing with our economy the way it ought to be. Today,
how many factories did they build? How many infrastructure?
If you want us to now come and take that debate, right?
How many infrastructure do they build? No, I am asking you.
Yes.
Because those infrastructure supposed to be the basis. Those factories and infrastructure supposed to be the basis of the structure.
I am not defending that regime, so that you will not put me in the position of.
No,
I'm not defending that regime because I campaign.
We are defending the naira.
Thank you. I campaign because of what I saw wrong in that regime. I campaigned vigorously against it in support of Buhari, and we wanted them out. We fought for them to go out, and they were voted out. That's Jonathan's and PDP's regime were voted out.
Okay.
And Buhari was voted in as a messiah. Now, when he came in 6 months of his regime, no appointment. It's uncertainty set into the whole system. Dollar was given an official rate at 196 and 160 something at that time. Meanwhile, at black market, it was selling for almost 400, 500. At one point, it got to 500 and something naira. And you listen to what Sanusi said that time. When Sanusi said people were sitting in their garden drinking tea or with their phone and were transacting between CBN and Zone 4, which is the Bureau de Change headquarters of Abuja. And from that garden, they were making gains of over 5 billion naira without investing 1 naira.
What were they
doing?
What are the EFCC doing? What are the ICPC doing? What are the Code of Conduct Bureau doing?
Okay, so
is it all about Buhari? Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're asking me now.
I am asking
now. Yes. What are these people doing?
Yes.
What
are the judiciary doing?
Tomorrow, by the time Buhari finishes his regime, nobody will remember the ICPC chairman. Nobody will remember those names. What we'll be talking about is what did Buhari's regime do? Now, when you now see as the president, that's why we voted you to power. We didn't vote you there to go and sleep there. We voted you there to go and work. When you now see that these persons are not doing what they are supposed to do, why not change it? Look at what is happening in MDCC today. Everybody is crying. They said they did one useless forensic examination. I was in EFCC with a client yesterday on the examination, and I told them, I made it very clear in that department, special duties department. I said, even the forensic auditor should be investigated because it was that so-called forensic auditing they did. It's a fraud. It's a big fraud. The so-called forensic audit that was done, all the auditors should be, all those who awarded contract, and billions were given to the auditors to do that job. What they just did, they went into NDDC database. They told NDDC, give us list of all your of all the contracts you awarded. They engaged 1 or 2 boys into computer, and you see how long it took. Almost a year. No, let me finish this, sir. Okay. They got 2 boys, sat in the computer, either retype or bring it in, and they were even mixing the whole thing up, harvested that data, that fake data that they did, without going to anywhere, and submitted to the president that they have done forensic auditing. What has the president done? Why is that? What is happening there? Is it the position of the law? When you go against the law, you encourage corruption. When you keep quiet, when what you are supposed to do at time A, you refuse to do it, you now want to do it at time B, which is a wrong time. It's also corruption. So when you tell me that one person is above corruption, nobody in Nigeria is above corruption. That's why I said, if an Anini wakes up tomorrow to contest presidency, I will vote for an Anini than to vote for anybody who will come and tell me he's a saint. I'm telling you, this is my position.
That is out of patriotic frustration. That is out of patriotic frustration. That being said, we are dealing with the issues of the forth and back of the electoral bill. What is the implications of these rejections of refusal of assent by Mr. President to this latest amendment? What is the implications for the primaries, for the elections, and the...
No, his refusal, like I said earlier, his refusal, I agree with him 100% for refusing to sign. That law came at a very wrong time. The National Assembly were the ones who made the one he signed just 2 months ago. So if they didn't think it wise, they didn't know that they were shooting themselves on their own leg when they made that law, which was a better law. Now they want to now bring themselves into the game so that they can now vote.
Okay, you prefer the one they did before?
Yes. Let delegates be elected.
Okay.
Delegates should go through democratic elections. Not that because you are holding position, you're automatic delegate. No. Because it overbloats the... Whether you like it or not, our system is now... Our politics is now monetized. So, for instance, that Namadi Sambo's son who spends just 76 million naira, if not for the position that delegates are elected, if statutory delegates are added to his expenses target, he would have spent only on delegates over 150 million naira on delegates, because those statutory delegates, you pay them higher. These are people who are already making money: governors, deputy governors, vice president, House of Rep member, House of Assembly members, elected persons. So there would have been more for him to pay for, because whether you like it or not, we now buy votes. Whether you like it or not, even though we say the laws are against it, there's no punishment for it. So we buy. In fact, there's nothing incriminating the political party primary buying of votes. It's only the main election buying of vote that is a crime.
As a nation, are we thinking developmentally? For example, I stumbled on a report that says that a presidential candidate in the United States will spend a minimum of $5,000 for nomination and all of that and that kind of a thing. And in Nigeria here, you know what that means.
$5,000 is just for, it's what you will give to one person.
So when you look at this, you are talking about United States with a cumulative GDP of over 23 trillion naira, $23 trillion, and you are talking about Nigeria 460 billion. Are we a nation that is thinking about development, or we are just transactional? It's we make a government offices a workshop where we plunder and the rest of it?
People, so yes, that is what we are now. So everybody struggles to get there, because you know when you get there, you can do whatever you want to do. The funds, the public purse is there for you to just dip your hands into and pull out, and nothing will happen. You go home scot-free. So until somebody really come, not this anti-corruption mantra story, a real anti-corruption fighter becomes the president, not vice president, not EFCC chairman, not ICPC chairman, president. Because you know why? If he's the vice president, the president and his people will kill his dream. If he's the EFCC chairman, and he invites, there are people he will invite as
and a corrupt president will call him to step.
Not the president.
Even minister.
It is not the president that will even call him. That's when people are saying, "Oh, Buhari, yes, it's not transactional." Yes, I agree. It's not transactional. Is he the one doing it? Is he the one running the country? The people who are running the country. You talked about people who have been arrested. The accountant general, all the people you listed in a number of persons who have been arrested. It is not in the course of fighting corruption. It is in the course of their own in-house fighting.
That's serious.
That is what is leading to all this. If they were not fighting themselves, they will not get to that point. It's not like there is a clear-cut agenda to directly fight and tackle corruption. If there is something like that, there is a way to fight. We will, all me and you will know. At the initial stage when Obasanjo started EFCC with Ribadu, we saw a level of seriousness at the initial stage until it was also politicized. So the corruption fight in Nigeria today is politicized, heavily politicized. So it's not the president. If the current EFCC chairman and his team invites you, it's just to meet one or two persons, those ones who are helping him to remain in office. They will call you and it dies there.
So if you have one single advice for the nation regarding this electoral bill, and the way we have played around it, the other time it was over section 84.12 and the rest of it. So
now 84.8.
With all of this, what will that advice be? We are rounding up.
This election should be conducted with the Electoral Act as already assented to. This current new assent has still 30 days also for it to elapse. President can sign it after all the primaries. Okay. And then it guides future elections. For the future elections. But even for me, if I am in position to advise, I will advise that he does not sign it. Following the reason he has canvassed, it will only further increase the expenditures, because maybe the next election I may want to contest, so I will need to now go and be stealing more money.
You will have to pay the statutory.
So you have
delegates.
to pay. To pay those ones.
The statutory delegates will be more expensive.
To pay those ones, you are other ordinary delegates who are
because ministers are among them.
Ordinary delegates who are common people who are common poor people around the village. You are giving them 2 million, 1.5, and they are even not smiling with you.
That man demanding back his money.
So not to talk. Why
was it received? Was the money received?
Will you, if you were in the...
Very well, very well. That is how we pull the curtain on the first segment of the discourse on nationalism and you this morning. And we've been talking to Barrister Oyenevo Otemu, yes. A legal practitioner and socio-political analyst. Thank you for being our guest today, and we hope when we work on you again, you will make yourself available to us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It's very wonderful
to lend my voice and also express my frustration.
Let our politicians get serious with the process. Let us do the right things, observe our own rules and regulations as set, and ensure that we do not overheat the system. Whatever we are doing, let the interest of the Nigerian nation be paramount in our heart, in our decisions. Don't change the channel as we come to you shortly.